Hello and welcome to Cycling Through Life. I'm Thad. Thank you guys for joining me today. As you can see, it's a gloomy, wet, kind of nasty, grimy day. But I haven't ridden very much this week due to work and weather, so I had to get out. But I wanted to start the ride just showing you a little bit about how I get out through the traffic. So it's not going to be a lot of pretty footage, mainly because of the weather, but also just not a lot of pretty stuff to look at today. But I used to love this type of weather when I was younger and I was racing. I don't know, I guess something mentally switched in me that I knew everybody else hated it and was miserable. So I would click into another gear. It wasn't hot, so I would typically do better when it was cooler temperatures. In fact, I raced back in the first weekend of May 2010. I want to say it's maybe May 1st or May 2nd. You can look it up, you can Google it or whatever. The Big Flood in Nashville. I was actually doing a race in White House, Tennessee, which is north of Nashville, that morning. And it was raining like crazy, coming down so hard. I mean, you worried about traction on the road, the wheel splash from other riders in front of you. Visibility was an issue. It was just crazy. I was racing Masters 30-40, so a lot of guys faster than me. Because I hadn't been racing that long by 2010. But I remember the race very well. I followed an attack with one of the favorites of the race, and he and I got a little gap along with another guy. And just like racing, it's all about luck. The group brought us back in short order. Turn, thank you. And as soon as we got caught, the winning brake went. I missed the break, ended up riding. It was a 2-lap race, and I ended up riding with the main group for a while until late in the second lap. I attacked away from the group. Is he gonna stop? No. Got away with one other guy and ended up getting a top 10, but felt like I had the legs that day to compete for the podium. But luck just wasn't on my side. But on the way home, what normally would have been like an hour and a half at the most, maybe an hour and 15-minute drive home, it turned into an all-day affair. I was trying to navigate the flooded roads of Nashville to get south. Roads were blocked, cars were piled up in puddles, and water was rushing over cars. It was crazy. I think it took me like 7 hours to get home. Very frantic. You know, I had no idea what was going on, but didn't realize the Cumberland River had busted, or the banks got overflow, and the city was basically underwater. It was crazy. You need to Google images of the flood of 2010 in Nashville. The Titan Stadium was filled with water. You couldn't see the field. It was crazy. So anyway, this type of weather usually doesn't bother me as I'm older and more relaxed in my riding. I don't always go on rides like today, but again, I felt like I just wanted to get out. And it's not raining. It's kind of misting a little bit. I don't know if you can tell, but you can see some of the roads are dry. But it's just not a pretty day. I usually have to go hard through here because you can see there's no shoulder. There's a car behind me that's wanting to get by. I'm really trying to get out of the way. This is a stressful part. Good way to do a warm up on a ride. I'm only really 10 minutes in and I'm breathing heavy because I'm going pretty hard to start. Not easing into today's ride. This is probably my least favorite way to get out to where I want to go. But it's just the way I chose today. So I wanted to talk to you today about some workouts I did on the bike back when I was racing and training for some big events like the Cherahalla Challenge, the Assault on Mount Mitchell, which I'll do other videos on. Just epic rides. But because I was limited on my time and the number of days a week I would get to train, I had to concentrate on a couple of different workouts and just focus on training my weaknesses. A big mistake I made early in riding and training was I would train my strengths because that was easier. Didn't hurt as bad, but I wasn't getting really any better. Okay, we're gonna calm down a little bit now. Whew. I wasn't getting where I needed to be, so started reading some different workouts. And I will say I'm not a trainer, personal trainer. I'm not I don't have any education when it comes to it. I'm just sharing with you my personal experience and what worked for me. May not work for you. But if you want to get faster or stronger on the bike, I would recommend trying them, at least one or two, or incorporate some of them into your workout if you're wanting to get better. And I'll also say, whether you're using a heart rate monitor or a power meter like I do, I would strongly recommend, if you haven't already done a test, like a functional threshold test, that you should do one before you start doing these workouts, or else you're just, you could do them by feel, but it's better if you have some numbers to go by, and I'll reference them when I'm talking about the workouts. But you can do an 8-minute test, 20-minute test. There's different ones that you can do. I'm sure if you Google them, these days you can probably find a even more specific one. So I'll reference my power back when I was training. My threshold was probably about 330, 325 watts, 325, 330 watts that I could hold pretty good before the lactic acid started building in my legs. So the first workout I would do was a tempo workout, and I was really lacking on muscular endurance. I could get to the end of races, but by the time I got there, I didn't have enough oomph or power or muscular strength to be a factor at the end. And I basically just would ride in with the group. I would try to sprint, but my legs were so heavy and dead, it was pitiful, I'm sure. Watching was pretty humorous. So I started these tempo workouts, and the goal is to get your cadence around 65 to 75 RPMs and your tempo number, threshold, whatever, and just turn over a heavy gear. I would start with 3 20-minute efforts. I called them the hour of power because you're doing an hour at tempo. You're not at threshold, so you're going to get muscular fatigue, but you shouldn't have lactic acid in your legs. So for me, I would go and I'd start with 3 20-minute efforts to start the season with about a 10-minute rest in between. And I was trying to hold anywhere from like 285 to like 310 on those efforts. And then as I got better with those, I would switch to 2 30-minute efforts with a 15-minute rest in between. And then once the season was there and I really wanted to hone in on my strength, long endurance strength, I would do an hour, 60 minutes at that wattage with no rest. And let me tell you, the last 10 to 15 minutes, you're just grinding. You're not worried about speed. You want to find as flat a road as possible so you can hold the consistent wattage. Like probably if you're paying attention on my rides, you can hear I shift gears a lot. Even going downhill, I'm shifting to a harder gear, trying to maintain the same pressure on the pedals. I'm not coasting usually. I mean, I will some, but if I'm going uphill, like right here, I'm going up the cassette in the back to try and keep the power down, the wattage down, so I can stay in that range and not blow up. I mean, I'm doing only 13 miles an hour right now, but I'm riding my wattage of 310. If I was doing the workout, my RPMs are 70, and I'm just grinding, thinking about my stroke, pedal stroke, thinking about the wattage, power in my legs. I come over the hill like this, down, 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 trying to hold that power. Speed is obviously going to increase. I'm down 2 more gears. Not again. Worried about how fast I'm going, just maintaining the wattage. Or if you're using a heart rate monitor, it may be slower to fall. So you really got to kind of ride it by feel as well as heart rate if you don't have a power meter. I would typically do those on a Tuesday to start the week while my legs were somewhat fresh. Started calling them Tempo Tuesdays. And not only did it help me with my muscular endurance over time, morning, It helped me be a better time trial rider. I was fortunate enough to finish on the podium four, maybe 5 times in the state time trial championship. Never was able to pull off the win. They're just guys stronger than me. But I was able to get a couple silvers, I think 3 bronze. Because those tempo workouts helped. It just mentally got me ready to do an hour hard. It kind of helped me with the feel of not blowing up, measuring my effort, and really got me a lot of strength. The second workout I would do on opposite weeks that I would do the tempos would be muscle tension hill repeats. I would go find a hill that's about 5 minutes in length. I would go up it, take me about 5 minutes or somewhere around there. I would turn right around and go back down, use that as my recovery, turn around and go right back up. And I was shooting for like 55 to 60 RPMs. Again, working on muscular strength, hill climbing, but also working on my threshold levels because I was climbing those around 350 watts, 360, maybe 375, just over that tempo area and right in threshold without going too deep, trying to get the repeatability. I'd start out with doing like 4 or 5 early in the season, off season, whatever. Increase them to 6 and then 7. I don't think I ever got to 8 repeats. That's just, by then you're looking at 40 minutes. 30 minutes was about my max. I mean, you're pushing heavy gears. And for me, I still had to get home. So I would strongly recommend, especially if you're not a good climber like me, those muscle tension hill repeats are very important. It's crazy right through here. So the third workout I would do was a fairly new at the time. It was later in my racing career. I suffered with, like I mentioned in that race, the repeatability of following attacks. I could attack or I could follow an attack, but then once we were caught and that next one goes, I just had nothing. And I would miss a lot of breaks. So I started doing Tabata workouts, or Tabata, whichever way, I don't know how they're pronounced, but if you do any type of training for speed, you've probably seen them. If you haven't, it's a short, intense effort. I did 20 seconds all out. Basically out of the saddle, sprinting as hard as I could go. And then 10 seconds of rest where you're basically just coasting, if not barely spinning the pedals over with no pressure. And let me tell you, that 10 seconds goes by fast because once it's over, you're doing 20 again. Full gas. 10-second rest, 20-second full gas. And you do that for about 5 minutes. That's about 10 efforts. You're not looking at your heart rate. You're not looking at your power meter because your eyes are probably crossed or bleeding because you're giving it everything you got. And you think 20 seconds, no big deal. But after about that fourth or fifth one, you want to stop, I promise you. But you can't. You gotta do 5 minutes, and then each set you do, I did 3 sets of 5 minutes with a 5-minute rest in between. I would then do, once I got into the season, I would do 3 sets of 6 minutes, 3 sets of 7 minutes, and that was about it. There's a lot of times I couldn't finish that 7-minute, that last set. It's hard, but it is great to condition your heart to spike, recover quick, and then be able to go again, as well as your legs. So speaking of not being able to finish, it took me a while to learn. Again, this road is not awesome. It took me a while to learn if I wasn't feeling good, and I would recommend to you, if you start an interval or a workout and you're not feeling good, you can't get the numbers or the power that you want, don't keep going. Stop, shut it down, ride the rest of the ride easy, recovery, and try to repeat the workout the next time you're on the bike. Because it took me, I was hard-headed. I didn't know what I was doing. I thought because I couldn't finish the workout, I was undertrained, and I was basically just beating my head against the wall, digging a deeper and deeper hole, because what it was my lifestyle of work and kids and everything was making me tired, and the workout was just making me even more tired. So I could never bounce back. And I totally did not understand that. So it took me a long time to figure out, listening to my body and understanding the factors around me, what caused that. And it helped. So I recommend doing the same. Don't force an interval or a workout if you can't do the numbers or can't finish the duration. These people that slow down, go. I hope you're mad at that truck, not me. Sorry. People just stop going the other way. I don't understand it. They don't realize they're actually slowing everybody down. I know I'm slowing the people down behind me. I'm trying to get out of the way. Some people don't care, like that guy. Whew. I gotta remind myself not to go this way. Especially on the weekend, like today. Anyway, I hope you guys got something out of those different workouts. I want to end by apologizing for some of the audio and video quality of my other videos. When I first started thinking about doing this, I didn't spend a lot of money on equipment because I wasn't sure I was going to like it or if you would like it. So I didn't want to buy a bunch of stuff and it just go to waste. So hopefully as I learn and I get better equipment, you can enjoy better audio and visuals of the rides. There'll be times throughout the year I'll go to other cities because of work and I'll ride there, hopefully get some great views. And some different scenery. But if you have a workout that you do that works for you, put it in the comments. If there was one that I mentioned that you like, let me know. Give me a thumbs up. Help your boy out. I'm gonna finish this ride. Got about another hour and a half to go. So again, I appreciate you guys joining me. Y'all get home safe now.